I've covered a lot of coaches in my career, and you'll hear coaches, great coaches, say sometimes you learn a lot more by loss. Sometimes those are very, very valuable. And that's kind of what I heard from him right there. This was a great game for this team, and a loss, yes, but what they learned in this loss in so many different areas is going to be huge.
Off the top of the press conference, he told you this was a great game for us. This was a lot of emotion that infiltrated the Spectrum Center here tonight, not only with Charles Lee, but clearly all the players out there on the bench. And I do think that Charlotte responded, and they could have just withered away and not had anything to do with the fourth quarter. They fell down, 14 points in the third. Right after that, there was a small back and forth between both teams. Then the Pistons started to separate themselves. Hornets battled back just a little bit, make it a 10-point game. And then you saw what happened. I mean, this was absolutely a really tight contest going down the stretch. And speaking of contest, it was because of Klein and the way that he was able to shoot.
Yeah, I thought a real turning point in this fourth quarter was right after Coach Lee got ejected. Con Knipple comes out and he hits 2 threes back to back and really kind of shrunk that lead by the Detroit Pistons. I thought that was the turning point in the game. I thought for sure if they were to go on and win, that would have been the moment. But Con was just fantastic tonight. He had another 5 threes, 5 of 11 and 20 points. But such a young player to play with such poise.
Look at that right there too. How many times have you seen him go to that place emotionally? I don't think we've seen it all season long. He's hit big shots. We've seen him hit a big shot against Milwaukee, Toronto. I still don't think we've seen those facial expressions all year long. Goes to show you just how much they wanted this one tonight against Detroit. In the end, they don't get it done, but Con certainly did with the way that he played.
Our winner's brought to you by North Carolina Education Lottery. That would be Con Knipple. We can hear from Con Knipple right now. He's back there at the podium.
Yeah, I think it just took us, not focusing on, the physicality of the game, not focusing on the officials, and just, focusing on what we needed to do and executing down the stretch. When we focus on ourselves, and what we need to do, we're a really good team. And unfortunately tonight we just got, a little caught up in all the other stuff.
The game you guys played against Detroit back in December really struggled offensively, and it felt like they were taking you guys out of your rhythm right out of the get-go. How do you think this game compared to where you came up short in that first meeting?
Yeah, we still turned the ball over a ton tonight, which is hard to do against this team because, for the most part, I think we did a pretty good job of guarding them in the half court, but when they're very good athletes, so when they get out and run, they get some early, easy offense. They're a tough team to beat because they're really good. But obviously, the margin last game was a lot bigger than tonight, so it had that playoff atmosphere, and I thought we stepped up to the challenge and played a pretty good game.
Talk about playoff atmosphere. It wasn't just the team that stepped up. It seemed like the crowd was really engaged in that game too. Can you just talk about what you saw from the Spectrum Center tonight?
Yeah, it was awesome. We felt the support behind us, and I think that's a big part of just how we played tonight, and our ability to fight back with all the stuff going on. I thought the fans really had our back tonight.
You talk about the first half turnovers. What do you attribute that to? Was that unforced errors? Was that maybe the Pistons doing something that you guys weren't anticipating? What do you chalk that up to?
Yeah, I thought there were some were just loose with it, and then others just with our execution, just a little slow, not super sharp offensively, and then just got to give them credit too. They're a really good team, really good offensive team, very physical, but I think we could have handled their physicality a little bit better.
So I feel like both sides were questioning some calls throughout the game. What was it like for you guys on the floor to see your head coach go to bat for you guys like that and, go to the referees and end up getting ejected?
Yeah. I in college, those are 2-point technicals. In the NBA, it's only 1 free throw. But so it was good to, see Lee had our back there. I thought he really brought the juice tonight. And was really pumped up for this game, and I thought sometimes it's good to see that from the coach.
Con, during the altercation, you were one of the ones that were really trying to get everything kind of calmed down and resolved with your guys. Even as a rookie, just what does that say about your voice on this team in year one?
I just tried to de-escalate Moose because I knew he wouldn't hurt me, so. Just try to do whatever I can to, maybe save one of our guys from, doing something stupid or getting hurt himself. But
forgive me if I don't get the exact quote right, but I think after the Dallas win, you said that you guys know you're a good team. You feel like you can beat anyone in the league. When you have this performance against the number one team in the Eastern Conference, what confidence does it give you? Added confidence that you can still generate good threes against this team. You can still get into your actions and have a chance in the fourth quarter against them.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I said after the Dallas game that we know we're a good team and we can compete with anybody. And so when we focus on ourselves and what we can do to the best of our ability, we're going to be all right.
Even in a loss, in the scuffle tonight, there's a different juice in the hype. There's a different vibe in the city. How do you take that energy and that momentum and rally it for the team and rally it for the fans here in Charlotte? Yeah,
it's cool. I think, just stacking more wins. I think that's the best way, to get fans more excited about coming out to watch the Hornets, get more people in the media room, get a few more than we've had for most of the season. That's cool. We relish the support, and we want to build a winning program here.
Shout out to the media room. We love Con Knipple. Shout out the media.
Big shout.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a cold
Great
cookie.
game for this team tonight. Didn't get the win, 9 straight. We'll reset and try it again. We'll be right back, and we'll hear from Brandon Miller. Spectrum Center, 110-104, your final score. Brandon Miller had 24 points on the night. Let's hear what he had to say about all of the events tonight.
I think that's the game. A lot of competitors on the floor, having doing what they love to do. The emotions are high. So of course, some things escalate like that, but I think just putting it to the side and just focus on what you need to focus on. I think that's kind of our mindset, after that.
Yeah, what was it like being out there in the middle of all that action?
What was it like? Yeah. It's fun. Next question.
You were out there multiple times in that game, and it felt like you were kind of relishing the opportunity. That's the loudest I personally have heard Spectrum Center. Is that the same for you?
I love it, man. I tilt my hats off, every night to the fans just for showing up. They've been here through whatever condition. So I just, keep encouraging them to keep showing up to the games and then, cheering us on and helping us get these, get wins like this. Hopefully we can pull out a win next time, but just keep encouraging them to, show up and, cheer us on.
Brandon, Coach has talked about you guys being a tough team.
Well, your phone out your face, bro. There you go.
Brandon, Coach talked about you guys wanting you guys to be a tough physical team. And while you didn't get the win tonight, maybe you showed that you guys are a team that's not going to be pushed around, so to speak. Do you feel like that?
Definitely. They're a great team. Where we want to be, of course, the playoffs. We've seen, games where it's physical like this. So, we're going to have to, play through some physicality some games. So, we're trained like that and keep getting better that way.
You held Coach back there also in that one play. Just the emotions of the game, as you mentioned. Can you explain just what was it like to have to do that, knowing Coach is not usually that hot-headed?
Definitely. That's our head honcho, a leader for us. To see him have our back like that, I tilt my hats off to him, but, got to stay focused and just focus on the right things.
Brandon Miller saying, move the phone out of your face. Sounds like me talking to my kids sometimes, get that phone out of your face. But I do think he made a very good point. The fact that not only did the Hornets win 9 straight, that had the league talking.
Yeah.
But now the toughness that they showed from start to finish in this game, and even to be able to come back and make it close, that's going to have the league talking as well.
You can tell these guys are proud a little bit. Maybe not of the actual fight that took place in the third quarter, but I think they're really proud of the way that they responded. Charles Lee, immediately at the top of his press availability, he said, that game was awesome for us.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller nodding when asked about if he feels like this is a team that did respond well enough and put the league on notice. He said, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Even if it wasn't a win, they won't tell us that this was a moral victory. They don't subscribe to that. Mm-hmm. They don't believe in that sort of thing. But I think they're proud of the way that they played the latter half of the third quarter and then into the fourth.
Top team in the East, and they made it a game for sure. We're going to do this again on Wednesday. Hopefully a little less drama. We got Atlanta Hawks coming in town. Of course, the Hornets just beat Atlanta on Saturday at their place. So we'll see how this is going. Both of these teams obviously fighting for a spot in the standings right now. And so this could be a good one. It was a physical. It was a fast. It had everything that you wanted in this game. So we'll do that again on Wednesday. How about it?
I'm excited for it. One big thing, we'll see exactly what happens here after the game, maybe without Miles and Musa, but these guys, they showed that they can play with anybody even without 40% of their starters.
You remember when that dunk at the beginning of the game was the most excited thing that happened in the game?
5 years ago.
I mean, from start to finish, this game gave you a little bit of everything. So we will see how things play out on Wednesday night with the Hawks. Thanks for being here tonight. This place was awesome. Come on down on Wednesday. We'll see you then. Go Hornets.